If you've ever made a budget and then completely ignored it halfway through the month, I totally get it. I've done the same thing. Now, I like to keep things super simple so I can stick to them for the long run. So today I'm going to show you my personal budget for March, where I was able to invest almost $4,000 while also saving for a vacation this fall, for our new baby coming this summer, and even braces for our son. Now let's jump in and I'll show you how easy it is. Welcome to the channel. My name is Blake Galloway, owner of Shieldline Financial, where I help people get in control of their finances to take more vacations, save for retirement, and prepare for a wedding, and just a ton of reasons. Personal finance is personal. Now, because I like to keep things simple, I use a budgeting app called Monarch. It is super intuitive, ranked #1 by Forbes, and makes this whole process very easy. Now, if you'd like to use this app as well, I'll put a link down in the description below where you can save 50% off your first year. It comes out to like $4 a month. I highly recommend it. Okay, so as you can see, we have income followed by the expenses here. So I always like to start with the money coming in before we worry about the money going out. So now that March has ended, we've already allocated the money as it came in, and now it's time to just clean up the budget, zero it out, and then move on to April. So we'll start with paychecks, business income, and interest. Paychecks, we do pay ourselves a W-2, so we have $8,294. It's been fully allocated, followed by the business income of $4,246, and interest that the banks have paid us for $11. Total, this comes out to $12,551 for the month. Now, as you move down to expenses, the biggest expense usually for a family is their housing expense, and it's true for us. So our mortgage comes out to $2,142 here, followed by the home insurance. Now, this is a special one because we actually pay for the whole year through a broker. Usually able to get a 10% discount if you pay it all up front rather than going through like quarterly or monthly installments. So we actually charge for this out of our budget every month. That's why you see the $300 here, and then you see this rollover fund where you see the $2,200 that came in from last month rolling over and adding to the $300 this month, and then we'll have $2,500 that'll roll over into April. So that's how we like to do it. We usually pay for it around the July time. So we'll have a little over $3,000 saved up for home insurance. That way, as soon as that bill comes due, we pay it all in cash. We get a good little discount. And that's what's been working for us. Now, as we move to gas and electric, we budgeted $250 for this. It came out to $169. Water, we budgeted $160. It came out to $153. Home improvement, this is a category that I would like to put more in, and we'll cover that a little later. And then pest control, we did have the pest control company come this month. They charge every 2 months. So that's why you see $63 budgeted and then $127 that actually came in. That's because every other month they come. So we save up $63 a month to try to smooth out the budget where it's the same each month, at least as much as possible. So that's what you see here. Now, the next biggest expense for a family is usually cars. Now, car payments are the wealth killer here in America. I mean, most car payments nowadays are reaching over $700, even up to $1,000. Now, if you watched our savings series that we just completed from November to March 1st, I just upgraded my wife's car, and I did so all while cash flowing through the budget. So that way we were able to walk into the dealership, negotiate one heck of a deal, and then walk out with no car payment. So that's why you'll see that zero here, and why it actually shows zero rollovers, because we did actually roll it over through the previous months. So yeah, I highly recommend it if you're looking to get far ahead, be able to invest as much as possible, pay down as much debt as possible. Try to take care of that auto loan right away. You want to be able to knock these out, and that way all that cash is freed up for the budget. Now, the one thing we cannot ignore is auto insurance. We have to pay it. So here you see we budgeted $200. We did have to spend a little bit on the overage for the newer car. So we spent $102, and you'll see that where that comes in from the $1,150 that rolled over from last month. Add it to the residual. You see we put the $200 from the budget minus the $102 we spent, and we'll have $1,248 rolling into April. So auto maintenance is another fund. Tires, any problems that may come up that we just don't normally plan for. This is that budget that you want to have a little emergency fund set aside, because it is bound to happen. It's just when. So we have $1,267, almost the price of say 4 tires by the time that that's needed. So we have this. It's growing at $150 a month. I don't see any reason that we should speed this up any means, so I'll leave that for now. And then vehicle registration, $80. We did have to pay $36 just to help with the new vehicle this month. So we have $576 to roll over in total, and we'll have to register both vehicles come July, August time. So we have that here is rolling over. It's whenever that bill does come up, it's not going to shock us. We already have it set aside. So that's why we have this $3,091 completely set aside for if anything were to happen with the vehicles. Another big expense that I'm sure everyone incurs is groceries, eating out, coffee shops, fast food. I get it. I'm a foodie. So that's why you see in groceries here, we have $727. I try to spend as much as I can for a family of going to be 5 at the grocery store, but I do enjoy taking my wife out on dates. So you'll see that $447 here in restaurants. Now this fast food budget, I used to allocate $200 to $250. It was, if I'd stop at the gas station on the way to work or anything like that, I would allocate it towards fast food. Now I'm a little different with fast food. So if I'm picking up Olive Garden or having it delivered to the house, it goes into my fast food expense. If I am sitting down in Olive Garden, it's restaurants. So that's the biggest difference is if you're physically in the restaurant enjoying the meal, it goes under the restaurant budget. And then fast food is anything that you're eating at the house or on the road in transit somewhere. So we have been trying to reduce this fast food budget because I've wanted to enjoy more sit down meals with the family and take my wife out on dates. So this used to be $250. We've been trying to get it to $100 to $150. So we were able to hit that number here this March. So in total, for the food expense, we have $1,282 here. Really happy with it. I probably could lower it a little bit. We originally budgeted grocery expense for $700 and $400 for restaurants. We went a little over on both, but we came in under on fast food. So I'm not too worried about it. So as you scroll down here, phone bill is another bill that we just can't get rid of, right? We are tied to our cell phones. We need them for work. We need them to keep track of family and friends. So $139, I do pay for the whole family. That's why it is over $100 here. Subscriptions, $94 a month. This was actually over $100, and we've been slowly canceling subscriptions. There's another one down below. I'll show you that I've canceled. It just hasn't kicked in yet. So travel and lifestyle. Now, this is a category that I see a lot of my clients, they never really budget for. They just kind of try to save whatever's left to budget, like here in the top right-hand corner. And they say, whatever's left over as we roll it into it, we'll use that, or we'll use a separate savings account. And that's going to be our vacation budget account. So one thing I recommend is make the plan, set it aside into a separate category and put money against it. How many times do you go to Disney or on vacation and you're constantly looking at the budget or looking at that account, afraid if you're going to run out? The stress is a lot less when it's already planned for and it's growing. Now we have another vacation that we've budgeted here this fall, like just before school starts. Now I want a couple $1,000s in this account. So when we go, I could pay for gas, I could pay for food, the hotels, everything that I want to be able to provide without having to really watch the budget in case we run out. I want it pre-allocated in this fund. Now we did go on a little 4-day extended weekend here for my mom's birthday here this past month in March. So we spent this $719. That's why you'll see $874 came over from last month. We add $1,000, subtract what we spent, and we have the $1,155 heading into April. Still a really good spot. We're going to add a couple thousand more over the course of the next few months. So by the time that we do go on our vacation sometime this fall, we'll have plenty left in this fund where we won't have to feel guilty about spending it while we're on vacation. So children, usually what you see here is like children lunch money. We didn't have to put into any money in the account. And then shopping expense. This is normally one that I avoid entirely. I am a horrible, horrible person when it comes to shopping. I will avoid it at all costs if it's for myself or others. I let my wife handle pretty much all the shopping for the family. Now, because we do have a baby coming, she did have to start shopping for some clothes. So we spent $493 here on baby clothes and some odds and ends that we need for the nursery. So we did end up having an expense here. Then we come down to the health and wellness. This comes to medical, dental. I put like personal care here, so haircuts for me and the boys. Now, when you see this medical expense, we do have the baby coming, so I want this rollover fund to grow. I don't exactly know what the medical expense is going to be, but as you know, that every time you go to the hospital, you go to the doctor, you just never see the end of the bills that come through the mail. So I'm going to put more money into this account, and it just keeps rolling over. And as we get later into the year, closer to when the baby's supposed to get here, we'll should have enough in the account to be able to cover any and all bills that come in after the insurance has paid the rest. So now for the dentist dentist. Our oldest is going to need braces, so we've been kind of saving up for this. That's why you see the $4,856 here. And then for any teeth cleanings and such. Now for haircuts, this is a little over budget, but we started off the month with me and the boys needing haircuts, so it ended up a little higher than normal. I'm fine with it. Dental insurance, this is the subscription we're actually going to end. So when we went to get our teeth cleaning and just preventative maintenance at the dentist this year, the dental insurance actually didn't cover almost anything. It was like a very minuscule amount, and the amount of premium that we had paid up to at that point barely didn't even cover the bill. So we're going to end up canceling it. They told us that we'd also be able to get a cash discount if we just paid. So it actually would have been cheaper if we just canceled the insurance and paid it out in cash. So we're going to do that. So I placed the cancellation order with the insurance. They said it takes effect in a few months. So fortunately, we have a few months left of this coverage, which case they still won't really cover anything. And then we won't have this bill anymore. So as we come down, we have the gifts. My mother did have her birthday this past month of March. So we had $271 here. Some continuing education for being a certified financial coach. We had $448 here. And then we had financial services because it is tax season. We did have to pay our CPA to do our taxes. So we spent $500 here in March to pay them to actually extend and then do all the taxes for all the entities that we own. So life insurance also falls under financial, $14 per month. That's fine. Capital investments, $0. Super easy. Now, one thing I want to emphasize is as we go through this, you'll see no childcare. That is something that we've been kind of blessed with. Our two kids currently are old enough to attend school, so we don't have that large expense. And then auto payments, credit cards we pay off pretty much as soon as the charge hits, almost say nightly or at least once or twice a week. We're always paying the credit cards off. We never roll a balance. So we don't have really any debt other than the mortgage. So that helps us with this $4,000 left to budget mark. That's why with our clients, we emphasize so much on getting out of debt because it does keep you trapped. Where if you have a $500 or two $500 auto loans, then you're looking at $1,000 that you could be spending on anything else. That vacation you've been wanting to take. If you're looking to be married here in the next few years, $1,000 a month really goes a long way towards adding towards that wedding budget. And one thing that you don't see here in this budget is we did actually invest $3,700 into VTI this past month in March. We're doing an investing challenge you can check out on the YouTube channel. Now that is not allocated because we marked it as a transfer and that doesn't come out of your expenses. But knowing that, now we have $312 that we can reallocate. And this is where that home improvement that I mentioned before comes in. This is an area where I have a few projects I'd like to do around the house. So we're going to go ahead and add that $312 back in. And now this equals the $3,700 that we did invest over in our Fidelity account. So to us, this is completely zeroed out. That money is in Fidelity. Investments are a little different in Monarch. So this is zeroed out to us. So now March is completely complete. I like all these amounts that are rolling over. Now let's head over to April and I'll show you what we're already planning. So one of the things that I really like is that it already starts allocating transactions as the money comes in. So as we go ahead here, you see the paychecks. We haven't had a single paycheck yet. So we have $8,274 here. We'll be hitting our paycheck here in a few days. So this will actually populate. The business income already hit on the first. We have $5,246 that came in. Interest, so you see we have $2 that actually hit, and then we have $10. So as these charges start to come through, we'll start allocating and these will start zeroing out. And you'll see these green lines fill up. It's kind of one reason why I really like Monarch is that it's very visual. Then we have here, we go down, we know our mortgage is going to come out, $2,142. Home insurance, $300. That is something we're going to allocate. We know that it's going to go forward. $250 towards the gas and electric. We allocated it last month. It came in lower just because it had been a little cooler outside, but not warm enough to run the air conditioner. So we knew that that was going to be a little cheaper. It'll most likely come in under this month too. Not too worried about it. We'll allocate $250 here and then move it as it hits. $160 for water. It's been roughly hitting that number, so we'll stay. Home improvement, we're back to the 100. This is that $2,537 that we already just allocated from last month. It just brought it on over. Another reason I really like Monarch compared to running it on a spreadsheet is all this is automated. Pest control, you see the $64 here. It'll add April and then it'll add May and then we'll hit the charge from the pest control company and that'll zero out. Auto payments, none. Auto insurance, all the rest of these are slowly gonna hit over time. And then groceries, $700. It says we already have $40 in gas. I did go actually fill up my wife's new car here, so we won't do that every month. And then in case you get like Tesla electricity, I drive a Tesla currently, so I run that separately from gas. And then any parking tolls, if you take public transit like a bus or taxiing, Uber, Lyft, you can run those separately to kind of see what if you own a car and then also take it to work, you can run that cost analysis to see if it's actually worth paying. And then food and dining, it does look like we have $14 at the coffee shop, so we'll add that there. That was actually a transaction from today. That's how fast it allocated. It already knew that we stopped at Dunkin' earlier. $700 for groceries. That's fine. We've already gone to the grocery store once this month already. So it's $158 charged. $400 towards restaurants. We haven't gone yet, but I already have a couple dates planned with the wife. So this will start getting some transactions. And then fast food, we're at $200. I would like to stay under $150, but we already have $14 there. So we'll let that slowly accumulate. Now, phone bill, we know it's going to hit around $139. Subscriptions, $95, $94. And then travel, we're sticking that $1,000 towards our travel fund. We know that vacation's coming up and we don't want to miss it. Very big on experiences with the family while they're young. So this is an important budget for category for me. And then children's lunch money, because we didn't last month, we most likely will have that this month to just refill their lunch accounts. So I went ahead and allocated $100 here. Shopping, $365. This was carried over from previous months. I do foresee some shopping needing done just to wrap things up for the baby. And I know I need some things for myself. So we'll go ahead and add $500 here out of this budget. Medical, dentist, it all still staying the same. So $500 and $500 as these get over $5,000 and growing. And then haircuts, $175 sounds about right. Then this dental insurance will hit in the month of April, and then it'll fall off and we won't really need to worry about it. Gifts, there are no birthdays that I can think of in April, no anniversaries that I know of. So we're going to allocate $100 here just as a placeholder. Most likely won't have any gifts to buy unless I'm missing something. So I'm not too worried about this one. And then education, nothing that I know of, nothing planned. Life insurance, $14. We know that that was going to hit. And then capital investments, nothing planning on putting into any of the companies for marketing expense. So, and that's it. That's how we set up all of April. So now we know that just in the normal planned expenses and income, we already have $5,452 left for saving, investing, and debt pay down. So that's why I highly recommend Monarch, because compared to a Google sheet or an Excel sheet that you keep, I love my Excel sheets. I love the graphs and the reports and charts that you can see, but nothing can really beat the automation of the software that just automatically pulls in the transactions. I don't have to go hunting for all the different bank statements, credit card statements to pull in the transactions, remember what they were, because you can never really read the items once it's on the statement. You almost have to stay on top of it as you're spending the cash. And gosh knows you're already trying to get out of the restaurant, not trying to type something in on a spreadsheet so you remember it later to put it in. So that's one reason I really like this. Super intuitive. Now, if you do like spreadsheets and you do like seeing graphs, they do have reports here in Monarch where you can see your total income, your total expenses, your net income and savings rates. They have it broken down. There's a really cool Sankey chart where they show you kind of your biggest categories. So they show you out of all the income, what percentage comes in under paychecks, what percentage comes in under business income or selling things on Facebook Marketplace. Then it totals it up and then it divides about by all the things that you're spending it on, whether it's putting it away for savings or spending it on your house. And then that's broken down. Is the majority of it in the mortgage, or is it in a home improvement, or is it in your utility expenses? Now, when it comes to travel and lifestyle, food and dining, I really like this chart because it ranks the biggest categories at the top, which is kind of the big key items you want to look for. But then as it gets down, you can get into the nitty gritty. By in a year's time, you can see where you are spending the majority of your cash and how minuscule you actually want to get down into these smaller items to save those $10, $5, $20, because those little amounts do add up a long way. So if you do like your spreadsheets and you do like seeing the pie charts and the 50-30-20 rule, that is great. You could totally run those separate and you can run them side by side. I just really like the intuitiveness where you can even, click into some of these and see it all broken down below. And then you can even mess with the ranges. You can go last month, this month, the last 30 days. You can go years, saying that since the time that I've had Monarch, show me what I've made and what I've saved. You can do filters for certain vendors, merchants, tags. So if you have, this is a tax because I have a 1099 income that also mixes in with my personal. I don't recommend that, but you can tag it so that way you kind of know your tax money that needs to be set aside at the end of the year. You can set aside certain goals, whether you have a savings goal, a retirement goal, emergency funds, different amounts. If you remember any amount that was, greater than $1,000 that you want to keep an eye on to see if you could have reduced it or see if it's a repetitive thing that you definitely want to cancel. This is something you can do. I just really like the intuitiveness of running an app as awesome as Monarch. And I've tried other ones like Empower. The budget features of Empower just don't quite stack up. I wish they would improve it over there. You do have Copilot, which I've heard is really good. You have Every Dollar for the Dave Ramsey team, which I've heard is really good. And YNAB, which is You Need a Budget. Now, those other apps are really good. They allow you to kind of zero-based budget and put your money to work. I also like being able to go to my budget here and then forecast out to May to kind of see what that's going to be, to June, July. Now, if I know I have that vacation coming in August, I can put a big vacation expense down here under travel, and it'll automatically deduct it from this left to budget months ahead of time, way before that income ever hits my account. So you can really start to plan out what your year's going to look like way ahead of time before that month. So something that I really like, I know I'm preaching Monarch, just because I do advise all my clients to go through it. I do enjoy it myself. I use it myself. So if you want to save that 50% on your first year, it comes down to like $4 a month. I highly recommend it. I'll put that link down in the description below. Now, the biggest takeaway from all of this is this: budgeting isn't about being perfect. It's about tracking in real time and then adjusting with a plan. If you want to build a budget just like this for yourself, that's exactly what I help my coaching clients do. I'll leave a link down below in the description where you can book a call. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.